Well, I wrote in my blog yesterday about Kellen Winslow and, that he said felt like he was being treated like a piece of meat. By the way, he's been suspended for a game. It's going to cost him almost $250,000 by being suspended by the Cleveland Browns for basically, conduct detrimental to the football team, talking to the media, speaking out against the Cleveland Browns organization, whatever you want to call it, that they're suspending him for a game. And I wrote in my blog yesterday when he said he gets treated like a piece of meat, I said, get in line. Most NFL players, while you get paid, I'm talking about by management, if you're not playing, you're no good to them. And, if your feelings get hurt when somebody doesn't visit you at the hospital, man, if your feelings get hurt over that, you're in for a long career. And I don't mean a long good one. I'm talking about a long miserable one. And this is as talented a tight end as we have in the league. And I'm a Kellen Winslow fan. He chirps a little bit too much. And I'm glad he's getting better from the staph infection, which is another whole story. 5 or 6 times the Cleveland Browns staph infection since '05. They got to fix that. That being said, this is about Kellen Winslow and the Browns. It's time, and I mentioned this yesterday, so if you didn't read it, you're hearing it and seeing it now. Kellen Winslow and the Browns need to cut. They need to separate from each other, and he needs to go play somewhere else. Whether it's the injuries, whether it's the fact that he's not in cahoots with management, whether it's the fact that he's been hurt enough times or riding his motorcycle or this is a player that needs to go somewhere else. You can get a first-round pick for Kellen Winslow. And the Browns, this may be one of those situations because it isn't going to get better now. When you've been suspended for speaking out against your organization, it tells me 2 things. That the Browns are got rabbit ears because they're sensitive to what's going on. Had the Browns been undefeated or 1 loss or playing as good as they were last year, I don't think he'd have been suspended. I think a lot of it goes hand in hand. Everybody's frustrated. They suspend him for speaking out. The guy's feelings were hurt and he spoke out. Probably should have kept it quiet and talked within the Browns organization. That's the way it works. That being said, the Browns got rabbit ears. Kellen Winslow's a little bit sensitive, great player. It's time for him to go elsewhere because I don't think this is, when they first drafted him, you thought a match made in heaven. Now, this become a match made somewhere between here and hell not because of his talent on the field, because of all the distractions off the field on both sides. I don't think either side's happy. That being said, when will it happen? The off season, go out and get a first-round pick for him because I just think now every situation can be fixable. I'm not sure this one is one of those that needs to be fixed. I think it's time to cut bait and move on for both parties. Now Kellen Winslow's got to come back. $250,000 will make you bitter when you're losing $235,000. That being said, he needs to come back, get himself right, help the Browns, and then I think the Browns and Kellen Winslow this offseason need to take a long, hard look at the situation. And if it can't be fixed, if there's not a change, and I don't think there's going to be a change in the front office and maybe not a change in the coaching staff, it'll be time for Kellen Winslow to move on because I just think it's a very, very cracked situation and severed, and I think they need to sever their ties. So Kellen Winslow's got to stop being so sensitive. You know what? Treated like a piece of meat, that you're underappreciated, get in line. When you're not playing or when you're hurt, they could care less. When you're out there, out of sight, out of mind. And on the other side, the Cleveland Browns are so frustrated with losing that they're going to take it out on Winslow. And I do believe in keeping things in-house and not airing your dirty laundry to the media and keeping it. And I think both sides need to protect both sides. It's like a father and his son or a parent and his kid or her kid. That when it comes time to it, you always got your kids back unless it becomes tough love and they need to learn a lesson. I think both sides have learned a lesson. It's going to hurt the Cleveland Browns. It's going to hurt Kellen Winslow. And it's an expensive lesson at that. But I think they need to cut and move on. The Cleveland Browns will be better off without him. And not his talent, but the whole thing. Just like Kellen Winslow will be better off going somewhere else. And he'll end up in a Pro Bowl on another football team when he's settled and happy. Whether that happens, if I was a general manager, that'd be my first move in the offseason. I'd start to look and see if I could get a first round for Kellen Winslow. Both sides need a change.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.